So in the previous session, we have discussed about Python programming, which is part 1. Today's session, we'll be discussing part 2. So introduction to Python programming, right? This is a part 2. Right, first and foremost thing, comments. What are comments? Before going to see what is a comment, right, a detailed statements here, you go to PyCharm. In the day 1, you observe here, I have used this print statement. Is it right? When I go to this print statement, how this is implemented, you observe here, this is a function, this is a method, right? This is a method. This method is having some description. It can be function also. In this case, it is a method. How you are saying it is a method, how you are saying it can be a function, wait for some time. Right? When we discuss functions, you will understand this very clearly. But for now, you need to understand this much. You see here, any function or any method which they have implemented, they provided some description here. Is it right? Inside triple double quotes, they have provided some description. So this is nothing but a comment. This is nothing but a comment, right? So what is a comment right now? Comments are descriptions. Comments are descriptions about logics. About logics. You see here, you take this simple print, right? You see here print. So what this print will do? Prints the values to a stream, right? That means it will print the output in the console, right? You see here when I execute this, is it printing the output, right? How it is possible with the help of this print? So what this print method will do, this print method prints the value to this output stream. Is it defining you some description about this function? So comments are descriptions about logics. Right? To understand logics very easily, right, we will specify descriptions. Going ahead, we'll also specify descriptions. So these are all inbuilt methods, guys. When we create our own functions, when we create our own methods, we will write the descriptions like this. When I specify the descriptions like this, right, other people also can understand about the logics, right, of this specific function, of this specific method very easily. So comments are descriptions about logics, right, to understand logics very easily, right? What these comments does, these comments does code maintenance easy. Code maintenance easy. Why I am saying this point? The reason is, today you are developing a code. Tomorrow you will hand over it to another person, another coder, because you may be moving to another company, you may be moving to another project in the same company. So in that case, you need to handle over this code whatever you develop to other person. So what other person needs to understand, other person needs to understand about the logic. So you need to specify some description. The same description you need to specify like this, right? So when you execute this, you observe here, when I am executing this code, is it printing this description in the console? You observe here, is it printing this description? No, it is not printing this description. That means Python is ignoring these comments. Is it right? So comments are ignored. Comments are ignored during runtime. During runtime, we will not be able to see any description in the console. Comments are ignored during runtime. All right, that means these are non-executable codes. Is it right? Non-executable codes. That means any code which is executing, that is what an executable code. If any code is not executing, that is a non-executable code. So you see here, this is also implemented here inside this function, inside this method, right? This is also treated like a code, but it is a non-executable code. So that is the reason you are not able to see anything in the console. Is it right? This is what the information about the comments. Good. How you can create comments? There are two types of comments. One is single line comment. Single line comment. Very important things these are. Single line comment. So how you can get that single line comment? Just follow this shortcut. Control plus, forward slash, control plus forward slash. On any line of code, if you specify this, if you try to press control and forward slash in your keyboard, so that line will be commented. So a single line comment, we'll see that right now, right? So it will give you hash, right? If you want to specify multi-line comment, observe this very carefully. Multi-line comment, what you need to do, control plus shift plus forward slash, control plus shift plus forward slash to specify multi-line comments. So multi-line comments means you can specify description inside triple double quotes, right, or triple single quotes. Triple single quotes, observe here, triple double quotes or triple single quotes. You see here, observe here, observe here, this is the description. Multiple lines are there, is it right? First line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line, like this, multiple lines you have. So this is a multi-line comment. I am specifying this multi-line comment inside triple double quotes. I'm enclosing this multi-line text, multi-line comment, multi-line description inside this triple double quote. Is it right? So this is how you can get this multi-line comment. Let us see an example. For everything we need to see an example, right? I'm creating directory day2, right? Day2 directory, right? Creating a module. Right click on that directory, mouse over onto new, click on Python file, right? Comments, right? Observe here, simple code, I'm writing it here, right? Comments. This is Python program. This is Python program. This is a single line. I don't want to execute this line. I want to make this as non-executable code. What you can do, you can make this as a single line comment. So how you can make this as a single line comment? Just use this control plus a forward slash. Just press this control and forward slash in your keyboard. You see here, pressing control forward slash. You see, observe here, it is automatically commented. How it is commented? Control forward slash. So at the very beginning of the line, it is automatically specifying this hash. This is one way. What is the another way? You have a line. Instead of going for shortcut, is there any way? Yes, directly specify hash at the very beginning of the line. That's it. Specify hash or press control and forward slash in your keyboard. Observe here. So this is what a comment, single line comment. You are having one single line, right? So you can comment that one single line. So once you comment that one single line, it will be not executed. So this will be ignored, right, by Python program. Suppose if you want to represent multi-line comment, multiple lines. So let me take the same line. This is a Python program, right? This is Python program. So up to here, it is single line comment, right? We'll see multi-line comment, multi-line comment. Observe here, I'm just using this. This is a Python program, one line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line. So you see multiple lines I have. So you think this is a description. I want to keep this description as a single block. So whoever reads this, they will not miss clarity. They will not consider only this single line. They will consider all these lines. So I want to make this as multi-line description, multi-line comment. So what you need to do, you need to enclose that multi-line comment inside triple double quotes or inside a triple single quotes. Observe here what I am doing. At the very beginning, I am specifying triple double quotes. Shift, right? Press that triple double quotes. You see here. You see here. So it is the beginning triple double quote, and at last specify triple single triple double quotes. You see here, this is a multi-line comment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like multiple lines. Multiple lines I am specifying here. I'm enclosing inside triple double quotes. Enclosing inside triple double quotes. This is a multi-line comment. Instead of this triple double quotes, you can also use triple single quotes as well. right? Triple single quotes. Observe here, triple single quotes. You see, this is also a multi-line comment. So comments are used to write descriptions. You can enclose multi-line comment inside triple single quotes or inside a triple double quotes. Very, very important basic information this is. So this is what with respect to comments. Comments are non-executable codes ignored during runtime. Makes code maintenance very easy. Comments are nothing but descriptions about logics. That's it. Next, we need to understand indentation. Indentation, very, very important. Indentation. So what is meant by indentation? Indentation defines a code block in Python. If you have multiple lines of code, if you want to represent each and every code in one single block, so that when you execute that block, all codes will be executed. So for that, you will go for indentation. So statements within same indentation are treated as a same block. We'll see an example, right? So when we talk about control flow, when we talk about loops, for loop, while loop, when we talk about functions, when we talk about methods, when we talk about classes, we'll strictly follow this indentation. If you don't follow indentation, you will get error. So to follow indentation, we need to use spaces, either 4 spaces or tab, one tab, press one tab on your keyboard, or use 4 spaces. Click spacebar 4 times to get proper indentation. Right? You see here, I'm creating another module, indentation, indentation, right? Observe here. So this is what a multi-line code is, that it is not a comment. Observe here, it is not a comment, it is a multi-line code. All right. So my requirement is I want to represent this code in a single block. To represent this code in a single block, in this case, to make you understand, I'm just taking this control flow. So as a part of that, I'll be taking this simple if conditional statement, guys. Simple if a conditional statement. Don't worry for now. If you don't understand also, it is absolutely fine. We did not discuss about a control flow. To make you understand about indentation, I'm just taking this simple example. Observe here. So it is about indentation, right? So if I'm specifying true, if a condition is true, so inside this, if you are having multiple lines of code inside this if block, those will be executed. You see here, I'm not following proper indentation. That means these lines of code belongs to this if. Inside this if, I need to represent this. If I don't represent that, if I don't follow that indentation, I will get indentation error. Observe here, I'm just executing this. Run indentation. You see, indentation error. Expected an indented block. That means whatever the if block which you are using, inside that if block only, you need to have these statements. So this is what a syntax. Simply indentation means a syntax. Observe here, indentation means simply in a layman words, you can understand about a syntax. Syntax means you need to follow the same thing, right? So if I am saying you to attend 8 p.m. IST at every day, that is a process. If you attend at 9 p.m., if you attend at 10 p.m., it is not a process. That means strictly you need to follow some order. That order here, it is nothing but indentation. That order here, it is nothing but syntax. So indentation defines a code block. So what I am doing, this whole code, I'm just representing like a block. You see here, this is what a if block. Inside if block, I'm having multiple lines of code, multiple statements. When I execute this right now, you see each and everything is executed in one single block. This block is having 4 spaces. You see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of clicking space bar 4 times, just click on tab 1 time. That's it. You can have 4 spaces here. Right? If you want to follow indentation, definitely after colon, whatever the code which you have, specify that as a part of indentation. If you don't follow, you will get indentation error. That's what we have seen. So indentation is nothing but a syntax. You need to follow that syntax very strictly. Otherwise, you'll get indentation error. Very important basic things here. These are all the basics. Before going to build a big building, you need to understand these basics. Lot of things we'll discuss. Next, you need to understand identifiers. Identifiers, guys, simple. Understand the simple meaning. I am identifying my student Deepak. How I am identifying? With the name. I am identifying one of my student Rasi. How I am identifying? With the name I am identifying. So identifier, it is nothing but a name. A name in Python program. A name in Python program, it is called as an identifier. This name itself says identifier. By which I can identify you? By name I can identify you. Similarly, Python program also identifies everything by using name. What identifies? What it will be identified by Python program. You see here, in Python, everything will be having some name. Variable name it is, right? Variable name. It can be class name. It can be method name, right? All are names. It can be module name. Is it right? It can be package name, right? So lot of names. So a name in Python program is called as an identifier. You observe here. You observe here. Hello world.py. Hello world.py is what a module. This module is having some name hello world. I can identify by name. Indentation.py. So I can identify by indentation. You see here, day2 is what the name. It can be directory name also. It can be package name also. Everything in Python is having some name. That name in Python program, it is called as an identifier. If you are having different names, so different identifiers, variable name, class name, method name, module name, package name. Good, right? To keep a specific name, will you follow certain rules or not? My name is so and so. Your name is Rasi. Your name is Ankit. You'll follow certain rules to keep the name. Is it right? Similarly, to create any name in Python, you need to follow certain rules. What are those rules? So a name must include letters. Must include letters. It can be lowercase letters or uppercase letters. Lowercase letters or uppercase letters. It can also have digits. Digits means 0 to 9. You can have digits, right? It can also have underscores. It can also have underscores. A name can have underscores. A name can have letters. A name can have digits. A name can also have special character. Only underscore is allowed. Special underscore is a special character, right? It is the only special character it is allowed. And another important thing, identifier should not begin should not begin with digit. Should not begin with digit. Simple. The best example for all these combinations is, let me take hello world, hello underscore world underscore 123.py. Is it right? Best example for this. It is having all the combinations. Letters it is having. It can have some capital letter also. It can have some small letters also, capital case or small case. It can also have some digits as well. It can also have some special character, that is underscore, right? This is what the proper name, proper identifier, right? So if you try to create the identifier like this, it is not a proper identifier. So 123 underscore hello world, this is not a proper identifier. Should not begin with digit. Should not begin with digit, right? Should not begin with digit. Should not contain dollar. Should not contain dollar. Dollar, very important, very important thing. So dollar is this symbol is called as an dollar. Should not contain dollar. Special characters are not allowed except underscore. Except underscore, special characters are not allowed. So if you specify dollar, that is not a valid name. Another important thing, identifiers are case sensitive. Identifiers are case sensitive. That means, you see here, if I define small x, lowercase variable name, which is having some data x equal to 10. I'm having another variable capital X equal to 20. If you try to access capital X, it will only return you 20. It will not return you 10. That means by this example, I can understand. So Python is having some name. A name is case sensitive. That means you can specify either lowercase or uppercase. Accordingly, the value will be returned. All right. And one more important thing, reserved words. Reserved words in Python are not allowed as identifiers. Are not allowed as identifiers. Are not allowed as identifiers. Very simple, guys. When you go to any function for VIPs, they will be allocating some seats. Is it right? Those seats are only meant for VIPs. Whether the VIP came or he did not came, those seats are will be there as it is. Is it right? Similarly, in Python also there are some reserved words. Only those words are used for specific functionality, not for any another functionality. Only for a specific functionality, those words are needs to be used. Like some specific seats are reserved in a function, right? So reserved words you should never use in Python, right? As identifiers, you should not use for creating names. We'll see what are reserved words, what are keywords also going ahead. Give me some time, right? So these are all important things with respect to identifiers. With respect to identifiers, and one more important thing, when we discuss encapsulation, encapsulation is nothing but it's like a security mechanism. When we discuss object oriented programming principles, you will understand encapsulation very clearly. So if a name starts with underscore symbol, if a name starts with underscore symbol, it is a private identifier. Private identifier, very important thing, guys. Private identifier, it is having some advantage, it is having some meaning, but for now you need to understand this much only. If a name starts with a underscore, it is a private identifier. Suppose if a name starts with double underscore, right? If a name starts with double underscore, it is a strongly private identifier. Strongly private identifier. Strongly private identifier. Suppose if any name starts with two underscores and ends with two underscores, it is nothing but magic method. It is nothing but magic method. These are the things which you need to remember. When we discuss class and object, then you need to recall these things. If any identifier starts and ends with two underscore symbols, it is called as a magic method. If you want to add two objects, if you want to multiply two objects, if you want to perform mathematical operations on objects, we need to override magic methods. We'll see in object oriented programming principles, but you need to understand this much. Don't bother about those things. We'll cover in greater detail. All right, observe here, underscore name, underscore underscore name, underscore name, underscore underscore. Private identifier, strongly private identifier, magic method. Magic method. So this is what with respect to comments, indentation, and identifiers. In identifiers, you see here, there is one important information. You should never use reserved words. These reserved words are also called as keywords. Reserved words are also called as keywords. So what are keywords? This name itself says what are reserved words. So when I'm saying reserved words, reserved means they represent some meaning or functionality, right? Meaning or functionality. Meaning or functionality. Reserved words, they represent some meaning or functionality, right? Only for specific purposes you need to use, right? How many keywords are there? Very important interview question. There are total 35 keywords in Python. There are total 35 keywords in Python. We will use each and every keyword going ahead, but for now, don't bother about this. Let me show you how you can see these keywords, right? Creating keywords module, keywords, right? Observe here, very important thing you need to observe here, everything you need to observe, right? So these keywords are available in keyword module. You need to import that keyword module. When we discuss modules and packages in Python, there are multiple ways how you can import a package, how you can import a module, how you can import a stuff inside a module like a class function. We'll understand very clearly, but understand this much for now. So import keyword, inside keyword module only I am having kw list. So this kw list, if you see here, it is what a variable. This variable is a list variable. This list variable is having lot of keywords. You see here, false boolean value, none nothing, true boolean value, and, as, asset, async, await, break, class. So these are all keywords. There are total 35 keywords. Observe here, print of print of print of keyword dot kw list. So it will return me all keywords. Observe here how many keywords are there. You see, lot of keywords. You need to remember this. You need to remember this at the very beginning. If you remember, going ahead, it is very easy for you to use them. False, none, true, un, as, asset, async, right? Local, non-local, right? Lambda, pass, rise, right? Return, try, while, with, yield. You see, if. Just now we have used if. Is it right? When we discuss this indentation, we have used this if. This if is also a reserved word. Only for checking the condition, we need to use this reserved words. For creating names, you should never use this reserved words. Very important thing. You observe here multiple datas, multiple data points. I'm representing inside square braces, square brackets. So this is nothing but list. If you are representing multiple objects inside list, list means inside square braces, and each and every object is separated by comma, it is what a list data structure. Data type is different, data structure is different. You need to understand very clearly. Data type is different, data structure is different. List is a data structure. Tuple is data structure. We'll discuss. We'll discuss. So you see, these are all the keywords. So how many keywords are there? There are total 35 keywords, right? So this is what a list. On a list, you can apply some function. What is that function? Length function. Length of keyword dot kw list. Length of keyword dot kw list. Length function will return me the count of all data points inside this list data structure. So there are total 35 keywords. You see here, there are total 35 keywords. There is no another way. You need to remember all these things. In an interview, they will simply ask how many keywords are there. What are the keywords? You should never forget this. You should remember this. It is very easy. Every time we will use these keywords for specific purposes. So keywords are reserved words. They represent some meaning or functionality, right? So there are total 35 keywords in Python. Good. You see here, I'm using this identifier. In this identifier, in this object, I'm storing some data. What this object is called as? This object is called as variable, right? We need to understand variable. Everything, even dot also, we need to understand what its meaning is. What is a variable? So variable is nothing but a reserved memory location. Reserved memory location. Every programming language will be having some memory. Inside that memory only, you will store some data. So why that memory is required? Why that memory location is required? So to store some data. To store some data. Data is also called as information. Is it right? Every day you are learning some new information. So that new information is called as data. With the help of this information, our computer processes and it will give some output. Is it right? So variable is a reserved memory location which will store some data or information. Just to understand this much. Every variable will be having some data type. Data type. Guys, if you see in other programming languages, if you see Java, let me talk about Java. There is a variable X. Inside this variable, I want to store some integer data. What I need to do, this variable, for this variable, which type of data it will hold, I need to specify the data type. Observe here, suppose I want to store integer data, you need to specify this data type. Then you can only store integer data inside this location. If I specify string, right, if I specify string of yes equal to, right, welcome, I can only store string data, not integer data. You need to declare the data type of a variable, then you can store only that type of data, not any another type of data. So inside this variable, I can't store this string data. Inside this yes variable, I can't store this integer data. Very important observation it is. But you don't have that headache in Python. Even though every variable is having some data type, how this data type is assigned? Based on the data, based on data, based on data, data type is automatically assigned. Data type is automatically assigned. Automatically assigned by Python. By Python. In other programming languages, you need to define that explicitly. But here you don't need to bother about that. Based on the data which you are providing during runtime, it will be having some data type automatically assigned to that variable by Python. So this type of behavior, it is called as dynamically typed programming behavior. So Python is called as dynamically typed programming language. Dynamically typed programming language. Very important information. You don't need to bother about the data type. Why? Every variable will be having some address, memory address. Inside that memory address, it will store some data. It can be any type of data. In other programming languages, you need to specify the data before storing the data. But in Python case, you don't need to bother about the data type. Based on the data which you are providing during runtime, the data type is automatically assigned by Python. So this behavior is a dynamically typed behavior. So Python is called as a dynamically typed programming language. Good. What is the proof for this? You are saying these simple statements. Yes, I understood this. What is the proof for this? Let us see. Let us see. Let us see each and everything with a proof. Everything we need to a proof. I'm creating another module, variables. Variables. Observe here, guys. Observe here. I'm creating a container, right? A is a container. Container is nothing but a memory location. Inside this, I'm storing some data. A equal to 10, integer data. B equal to 20.5. 20.5. This is float data, right? C equal to welcome. C equal to welcome. You see, sequence of characters enclosed inside single quotes or double quotes. It is called as a string data type. Don't forget this. When we discuss a string data type, you will understand very clearly about the operations of string data type also. Either in double quotes, either in single quotes, you can represent sequence of characters. So it is called as a string data type. These are the variables. Inside these variables, I'm storing some data. Am I representing the data type here like int, like float here, like string here? Am I representing like this? No, I am not representing. Right? I'm not representing. Right? I'm not representing. Observe here, I'm not representing. Only I'm specifying the data. I'm passing the data to these containers. Based on the data provided, the data type will be automatically assigned. So how you can check the data type? So to check the data type of any variable, you have type. You have type here. Observe here. Observe here. I'm just calling this type. Type. Right? Type. So when you see this, it is a class. Type is a class. Type is a class. Don't worry. What is a class for now? You observe here. So to get the data type, you have a type class. So what it will do, it will determine data type of variable. It will determine data type of variable. You see here, this is the variable which I defined, right? A type of A. It will return me which data type this variable belongs to, right? This variable belongs to. Observe here, which data type it is. It is a class int. Every data type will be having some class. It is integer. That means this is integer data which you are storing inside this. So it is returning me class int. Next, let us see B, right? Next, let us see C also. B and C, right? Let us see this. Observe here, it is float. Is it right? You see class float. Sequence of characters inside quotes, it is a string, right? You observe here. So sequence of character or a single character inside double quotes or single quote, it is treated as a string data type. But in Java, you have char data type, you have string data type. You don't need to bother about that in Python. Only one single data type, which is string data type. Going ahead, you will understand that very clearly. When we discuss different data structures in Python, you will understand that very, very clearly. But for now, you need to understand these basic things, this much only, right? Don't overload your memory. That's it. All right. You see here, let me define another things as well. I have two variables again. So A equal to 100, B equal to 100, right? So I want to print, I want to access what I can do. Print of A, I can access. Print of B, I can access. All right. You see here what the data it will print inside this container. It is having 100. So they are returning 100 and they are printing in the console. Good. If the values, if the data are same inside these memory locations, in one single line, you can try to represent them. A equal to B equal to 100. If the data is the same, every object is pointing to same data. A is pointing to 100, B is pointing to 100. So in this case also, it will return you same data. Why we need to understand this? Going ahead, you will understand the importance of this particular notation. Instead of writing multiple lines in one single line, you can get the work done. All right. So these are all important things, important ways of handling this data inside a variable. Let us do one thing. Let us swap data inside a variable. Swapping the data. Lot of ways I have provided inside the material. I can use temporary variable. Most of you people will be knowing that. I can use a tuple also. Right? A tuple means sequence of characters enclosed inside parenthesis. It is called as a tuple. Right? So you can use a tuple as well. I have also specified that in the material. But what you people don't know, let me tell you in another way. So what I am doing right now, so I am just taking two variables A comma B. This is how you can represent the data also. In one single line, you can assign the data to A and B. Right? I'm just taking 5 comma 10. 5 comma 10. So what my requirement is, A here it is 5 right now. B here it is 10 right now. I want 10 to be assigned to A, 5 to be assigned to B. That means I need to swap the data. I need to swap the data. So how you can swap? So most common approach is everybody will use a temp variable. Let me show you another way. What I will do, I will use addition operator. I will use subtraction operator. You can use multiplication operator also. You can use division operator also. Anything you can use. Let me show with first plus and minus. This is what most of the people don't know, right? So what I'm doing right now, I will just add two things first, A plus B, right? A plus B. So what is the result? It is 15. Is it right? What I will do, I will store inside the same variable. A previously it is 5. I'm overriding that data by this mathematical operation. Observe here very carefully. The data right now inside A is 15. A plus B, 5 plus 10, it is 15. Good. Now what I am doing, I'll subtract the data. So A minus B. So previously A is 15. Is it right? It is 5. Now you have overridden that with 15. 15 minus a 10, it is 5. Right? It is 5. So I will store that inside B. I'll store that inside B. Right? It is 5. Now what I will do, I will try to subtract A value from B. A minus B. A minus B. Observe here, guys. What is A here? 15. What is B here? It is 5. So 15 minus 5, it is a 10. It is a 10. Now you got the result or not? B is 5 right now. A is 10 right now. But previously, A is 5. You observe here, B is 10. A is 5, B is 10. Observe here, we'll see the result also. B is 10. Now, the result is swapped. The data is swapped inside these variables. A is 10, B is 5 right now. Observe here, observe here. This is what the values before swapping. A is 5, B is 10. Now, after swapping, you observe here, A is 10, B is 5. Is the values are swapped? This is what everybody don't know. This is one way. There is one more way also, right? So let me show you with star and division, right? Floor division operator, star and floor division operator, right? Observe here what I am doing. I'm just multiplying A and B, right? A into B, 10 into 5, it is 50. Good. 10 into 5, it is 50. So I'm just doing this floor division operation. So A divided by B, 50 divided by 10, it is 5. Is it right? Next, A floor division of B, right? So A which is 50, right? B which is 5 right now, it is 10. The result is 10. Is it right? You can see you can also achieve the same result as like with plus and minus with star and double forward slash, which is nothing but a division operation. All right, you can use these two things. Most of the people will use temp variable, but you can also use these different ways, very simple ways. All right, you see here A equal to 5, B equal to 10 before swapping. After swapping, A equal to 10, B equal to 5. Right? This is how you can work with the data. You can play with the data inside a variable. You can play with data. Good. Once you define a variable, is it possible to delete any variable? Yes, you can delete a variable, right? Deleting a variable. Guys, I'm not talking only with respect to variable. Observe here, anything you want to delete, anything in Python, if you want to delete explicitly, that means Python will anyway delete this. Delete that object. Why? If you are having unnecessary objects, Python memory will be full. Right? There can be severe performance issue. There can be some programs execution issue also. Right? What Python will do, if any object, object means anything in Python is called as an object. Don't forget that. Even though dot, even though comma, it is also treated as an object in Python. Anything in Python is treated as an object. If you are having unused objects, Python memory will be full. There can be a lot of issues also. What Python will do, Python will always delete unused objects. It is an automatic process. But in other programming languages, programmer has to take care of that. But in Python, you don't have that headache, right? So if you want to delete anything explicitly, you don't want to wait for Python to delete that. You want to delete immediately. You can use this del keyword. Del is a keyword. Del is a keyword. Very, very important thing. Del is a keyword. Del is a keyword. Observe here. I'm executing these keywords again. Observe here. One of the keyword is del. You see here, del is a keyword. Del is a keyword. So which is used to delete anything in Python. Not only variable, it can be method, it can be object, anything. So in this case, we are talking about variable. So that's the reason deleting a variable I have specified. All right. Observe here, a equal to 10. A equal to 10. Right. I'm printing that a value of a. Post that I'm deleting that variable del a. Del a. Right. So after deleting, I'm trying to access that. Right. After deleting, I'm trying to access that. Right. Guys, once you use del keyword, if you use del keyword, if you delete anything in Python, we cannot access that again. We cannot access that again. We cannot access again. Very, very important point. Very, very important terminology it is. Anything in Python is an object. Very clear. We can delete any object by using del keyboard. There is no problem. But if you delete anything, yes, deleted, deleted. That is gone. That is gone, right? You can't recover that again. So, which is an unbind operation. Unbind operation. Unbind operation. Very, 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 very important terminology it is. Once you delete anything, yes, that is deleted. You cannot recover that again. If you don't recover that again, that operation, if you are unable to recover that again, that operation is called as an unbind operation. Unbind, unable to recover, which is an unbind operation. Right? When you use del, we cannot access that again, which is an unbind operation. You see here, I'm deleting variable. Again, I am accessing that. Is it possible? It is not possible. So if anything got deleted, you cannot access that. It is an unbind operation. If you try to access, you will get error. You will get error. So what error it is? Name error. Name error you will get. There is an object previously, but you deleted that. There is no object with the name. So I can raise name error. That's what Python says to us. You see here, I'm deleting a variable. After deleting, I'm trying to access that. You see, before deleting, what is the value of a? It is 10. Is it right? After deleting, is that object available? No, it is not available. It is not available. Right? That means you cannot access that again, which is an unbind operation. You see here, name error. Very, very, very important observation it is. Very important observation it is. Good. There is one more thing. Instead of del, because if you use del, anything is deleted, that is permanently erased from Python memory. Instead of that, you can use none. Instead of that, you can use none. None means nothing. Nothing. You don't have nothing right now in your memory with respect to Python. Is it right? Nothing you have. Nothing means none. If you specify none to any variable, if you assign none to any variable, this object is eligible for garbage collection. Garbage collection. Garbage collection means this object is right now ready for delete operation. Ready for delete operation. That is nothing but a garbage collection. This object is now eligible for garbage collection. If you assign none to any variable, still you can access that variable. Why? I did not delete that, but still I can delete that. You can access that. You see here, it is a whose value is 10. I'm trying to access that. Now what I'm doing, I'm assigning none to this variable, a equal to none. A equal to none. So after assigning none, none means nothing, right? So when you can use this none, right? If you are not certain about the value, after doing some operation, if you get that value, all right? You see here, simple example. You are adding a product to Amazon cart, all right? So add cart at the very beginning, it is empty. Empty means nothing, is it right? But after doing some operation, you are adding some product to the cart. So number of products you can just take off. You can update that value to this variable. So if you are uncertain about the values at initial phases, then you can go for none. Right? So very, very, very important thing here. Now still you can access this variable. You see here, none. There is nothing inside this variable. Still you can delete this variable. This variable is eligible for garbage collection. You can access that. You will not get any error. Very important thing. These are all very minute things. If you don't have this base at the very beginning going ahead, it is very, very difficult for you. So that is the reason we are learning this each and everything in Python. And one more important thing, none means nothing. None means nothing. That is very good. So will it occupy any space in the memory? Yes, it will occupy some space. What is that space? It will occupy some 16 to 24 bytes of memory, right? Python memory, depending upon the platform. If you are using Mac, it will occupy some certain amount of space. If you are using Windows, it will occupy a certain amount of space. You can also see the size as well, but don't bother about that size. In the material, I have specified that, but don't bother about that. Nobody going to ask you how you can calculate the size of null. But you need to understand it will occupy certain amount of space in memory. Good. Once you understand this, one important point, what I discussed here, every variable will be having some data type. That means how many data types in Python you have. First of all, what is a data type? What is a data structure? All right, you need to understand. You need to understand data type. Guys, very important concept. Lot of people will have a confusion here. Lot of people will think data type is the same and data structure is the same. They are different. Data type and data structure in Python. Data type and data structure in Python. Right? Let me show you definitions. Post that we'll see some images. Right? When we talk about data types, when we talk about data types simply they're also called as a primitive data types. There are two types of data types in any programming language. One is a primitive data type and the other is non-primitive data types. Primitive data types simply I can call data types. They represent a type of data present inside a variable. Right? What type of data types you see here? Integer data type, float data type, string data type, boolean data type. So these are all built-in data types. These are all built-in data types. With the help of these data types, you will construct these non-primitive data types. You see here, data structures or non-primitive data types. Don't confuse here. It is clearly specified here. Data structure is different, data type is different. Don't confuse. Lot of people will confuse here. Data structure is non-primitive data type. If you use primitive data types to organize and store some data, it is called as a non-primitive data type. So it's a way to organize data, to store multiple values of data. It is called as a non-primitive data type. For example, list, tuple, set, dictionaries. So these are all non-primitive data types. These are all built-in data. So inside non-primitive, like primitive, you have built-in data types: list, tuple, set, dictionary. But you also have queue. When I teach data structures and algorithms to students, I will teach them very clearly. But for now, you don't bother about that. Queue, stack, linked list, graph, hash map. So these are abstract data types. These abstract data types are also implemented by using these built-in data types. So how they are implementing? By the type of data, by the type of data, by the type of data, that means integer, float, string, boolean, you will construct this. You will construct this. If you see this, Python internally is having some implementation. What is a list, how it needs to be, what is a tuple, how it needs to be set, and dictionary as well. But if you talk about this stack, linked list, graph, hash map, they have not been implemented. But you can implement by primitive data types. So when I talk about abstract data types, defines a logical structure but do not specify implementation. So how you can implement? Generally, it is a concept. If it is a concept, you need to implement that. So how you can implement? Stack. If you implement last in first out, that is by using stack, you can implement that. That implementation is called as a stack. Right? If it is first in first out, queue. If you want to manage memory efficiently, linked list you need to go. If you want to implement some networks, relationships, you need to go for graphs. Right? These I need to implement with the help of knowledge of these data types and non-primitive data types. I need to implement this abstract data type. So that's the name, abstract. They have been abstracted from primitive and non-primitive data types. This name itself says everything. If you understand name, your life will be very, very easy. Very, very easy. Otherwise, it is somewhat difficult. Right? You see, this name itself says these are abstracted. From where it is abstracted? From primitive and non-primitive data types. You can just implement that by using this primitive and non-primitive. right? So coming to this, stack and queue are linear abstract data types, right? Graph and trees are non-linear abstract data types. So these are not generally built into Python. All right, guys, very important thing. These are not available in Python readily. You need to implement that with the knowledge of these things. You need to implement this first in, first out, last in, first out, efficient memory management, lot of things you need to implement that with the help of knowledge of these things, right? Very, very important difference this is. Data type is different, data structure is different. Once you see this diagram, everything should come to your mind. Everything should come to your mind. These are all the very, very important basic things. If you don't understand these things, it is very, very difficult for you going ahead. That's what we are learning this very, very clearly. Next, we'll see some examples also for this data types as well. All right, I'm creating some simple directory data types. It's not a directory, it's a Python module. Data types. Data types. I already have the data. I'm just using that data types. All right. You see here, x equal to 10. This variable is automatically assigned with some data type. Y equal to 20.5 float data. Hello, string data. So a character enclosed inside quotes, string data. There is no char data type. True or false, a boolean data type. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a numeric string, right? You see, it is a decimal data enclosed inside quotes. So numeric string it is, right? So if you want to check which data type it is, you can use this a type class. Is it right? I can use this type class, right? You can use that. So type of X, type of Y, type of C, type of B. So these are all the variables which I'm just passing as an argument to this classes, right? These are all built-in data types, guys, primitive data types, right? So you can see here, it will return me respect to data types, int, float, string, boolean, right? Suppose if I have some list also, right? 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. For your understanding, I'm making this very, very simple. I have another variable z, right? So which is a or 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. You see here the implementation is different. I'm using parenthesis square braces here. Observe this very carefully. Print of type of xx, print of type of z, right? I want to know which data type these variables belongs to. I have different type of data. You see here, this is what an integer data, is it right? I am using this integer data, I am organizing this data in such a way it will create a list. So it is a non-primitive data type. Using primitive data type, if I create any data type, it is called as a data structure. Primitive data type, if I try to organize, it is called as a data structure, right? This is a list data structure. This is a tuple data structure. You see here, class list and tuple, right? So it is class list and tuple. So which is YY, right? YY, right? Class list and tuple. Observe here, class list, class tuple. So these are all list and tuple data structures. Data structure is different. Again, I am remembering you. Data structure is different. Data type is different. Data structure simply non-primitive data types. Data type is primitive data types. It is called SN. Very good. One more important thing. Every time which you see here, observe here, this is a variable. I'm storing some static data. Is there any way to read the data dynamically from user? Yes. You can use that dynamically from the keyboard. Yes, you can do that. So how you can do that? So reading data from user, how user will enter the data? By using keyboard, is it right? So how you can read the data? By using input method. By using input method, guys. Method is different, function is different. There is clear cut difference as well when we discuss objects, classes, functions. You will understand that very clearly. But for now, input is a method. So whatever the data which you are providing by this input method, so it will be treated as a string data type. We have not discussed the string data structure, right? So we have not discussed that list data structure. Going ahead, lot of sessions we have, but for now on a high level I'm making you understand. So whatever the data which you read by using input method, it will be treated as a string data type, right? You see here how you can read, right? To read that you need to use input method, you need to use input method, right? Reading dynamic data, reading dynamic data, reading dynamic data. So how you can read by using input method, just call that method. So input, right? You can see here input I am just calling, right? So observe here, so this is what it is not a method, it is a function, input function. It is input function, not a method, right? Function is different, method is different. So by seeing this I can understand whether it is a function or a method. If it is having self, this function, if it is having self, it is called as a method. Right now it is not having self, so it is a function. All right, I'm using that a function as it is right now. All right, so observe here, so input of, I can prompt some message to the user, enter data, right? Enter data. So what you can do, you can store that data inside some variable. So a equal to input of data, so a is a variable which I can store some data inside that variable. So after storing, I'll just print that. So what the data which I have entered, you see here, right click, run data types. You see it is prompting me, it is prompting user to enter some data. All right, so what I can do, I will specify this is python session 2, python session 2. You see here, is it right? Whatever the data which I read by using input method, it is storing inside this variable. When I try to access the data inside that variable, the same it is printing, right? This is python session 2. Is it right? Right, what I'm doing right now, I will also check which data type it is. All right, so observe here, so type of a, type of a, again I'm entering the data. You see, like executing that, specifying 10, only 10 guys. You might think that this is an integer data, but it is not an integer data. Whatever the data which you read by using input function, it will be treated as a string data type, string data type. Observe here, observe here, stop and rerun. It should not be the case. Click on that. You see, it is a 10. Which type of data it is? Class string. So it is string data. I am specifying decimal data only, but internally it is converted to string by using this input method. So this is how you can read data dynamically from user. Right. Next, you need to understand typecasting. Let us see that a typecasting as well. Typecasting. Typecasting. Very important operation it is. Typecasting. 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 Right. Converting from one data type to another data type, it is called as an typecasting. So how you can convert? So to convert, you have different functions, inbuilt functions available. So int function, so to convert any data type to integer data type, you can use this int function. To convert to float, yes, you can use this float. From any data type to float. To convert to complex, yes, you can use this. To convert to string, yes, you can use this function. So to convert to boolean, yes, you can use this. So these are multiple functions available. Let us see an example, right? So you see here, I'm just doing some typecasting, right? Typecasting, typecasting. A equal to 10. A equal to 10. So which data type it is? To know the data type, I can use this type of A. All right, which data type it is? It is integer data type. So I want to convert this integer to string, right? Integer to string. So how you can convert by using str typecasting function. I will show you one example. The same way you can also use another functions as well, right? So how you can use str, call that str. To this str, pass a as an argument, right? Pass a as an argument. So if I pass that, so it will return me some data and store it in some variable, right? You see here, which data type B is? Type of B. Observe here, it is string data type. So this is a typecasting. It is integer. You are converting this integer to string data type by using this typecasting function. By using this typecasting function, right? This is nothing but typecasting. And one more important thing. Let me show you one important thing again. What I am doing right now, a equal to 10. A equal to 10. This is what a string data type. Is it right? Decimal data enclosed, integer data enclosed inside quotes. It is what a string data type. How you can get to know print type of A? Type of A. I'm executing this. Which data type it is? String data type. Right? What I'm doing right now, I'm converting typecasting to integer. I'm using this integer typecasting function, integer of A. So after converting, I will check which data type it is. Which data type it is. You see here, which data type it is. It is int of A. I will also check which data type by using this type function. Right? You can see here, class int. It is a string, now converted string to integer data type. Is it right? This is how you can convert. And one more important observation. You need to understand this very, very clearly. By this, we will derive one simple statement. You see here, I am specifying 10. I am specifying 10. I am specifying 10, guys. What I am doing right now, I am checking the data type. Which data type it is? It is string data type. So I want to convert that to integer. Can it be possible? TEN. Can it be possible to convert that to integer data type? It is not possible. If you have 1, 0, 10 in integer, in decimal inside quotes, then it is possible to convert to integer because directly you are representing that decimal data. But here you are representing this string data only. It is possible or not to convert to integer? It is not possible. By common sense, I can say. If it is 10, I can convert to integer. If it is TEN, how I can convert? If it is sequence of characters, how I can convert? It is not possible. So it will raise error, right? Value error. That means by this example, what I can derive? If you want to convert to string data type to integer data type, compulsory string should contain only integral value. Is it right? 10 is what an integral value. This string is having some integral value. Definitely it must have integral value. Otherwise, it will raise error. It should be specified in base 10. Is it right? Is this 10 is specified in base 10? Instead of 10, suppose if you have 8 also. Right? It is also an integer value specified in base 10 number system. If you specify like this, it will raise value error. It will raise value error. So up to now we have seen type function. Like this, we also have different types of functions as well. Like you can see here, let me write those functions. Type to check the data type of a variable. ID to get the address of an object, address of a variable also. Print to print the value. So these are different functions you can use simultaneously. ID is also used when you want to compare the address. You can use this ID function as well to get the address of an object. Once we understand typecasting, we need to understand escape characters. Escape characters, very, very important concept it is. Escape characters, right? So these escape characters, simply they are string literals. In string literals, we can use escape characters to associate some special meaning. To associate some special meaning. I hope you have not understood this simple statement. Right, going ahead, you will understand what is the importance of this escape characters. But for now, try to remember this. When I specify \n, that means it is a new line. When I specify \n, it is a new line. When I specify \t, it is nothing but horizontal tab. Horizontal tab. Horizontal tab. Right? These are very frequently used. And there are even lot more things as well. Observe this simple PPT. Slash n, new line. Slash t means horizontal tab. Slash b, backspace. Slash f, form feed. Slash v, vertical tab. Slash quote, single quote. Slash double quote, it is double quote. Double backward slash, it is backslash symbol. So you are just escaping that escape character. If you specify double backslashes, that means escaping that escape character. But for now, just try to remember this. So these are all escape characters in Python. Most frequently used is /n. /n means new line, /t means a horizontal tab. There are a lot more things as well. Just try to remember this. And at last, we need to understand constants in Python. Right, right, very important. So Python generally don't have any built-in concept of a constant. So it's a convention generally. So if any variable value does not change throughout the operation of a function, that is treated as a constant. So always constants are represented in uppercase names. Always constants are represented in uppercase names. You see here, you take this simple mathematical value pi. How many of you know pi? From childhood onwards, we are trying to learn this. Pi is 3.14. Is it right? This is what the value. So wherever you go, you may be in this galaxy. You may be in another galaxy. Wherever you go, this pi value will not change. Is it right? So this is what a constant. So entire operation, this value will be same. So that's where you can represent this variable as a constant. Constants means with uppercase names, right? This name is an uppercase, right? Good. And at last, we need to understand how you can install packages. Going ahead, this concept is very much useful, right? Installing packages. Selenium is a package. Selenium is a package, right? Pandas is a package, right? Package is also called as library or libraries, multiple libraries. So multiple ways, right? Going ahead, you will see multiple ways. But for now, try to understand these simple ways. Pip, using this pip. Pip means Python package installer. Python package installer. So with this pip, you can install any package. Pip install, issue this command. Pip install package name. Package name. Pip install package name. Package name or library name. You see here, I'm going to PyCharm. I'm making you understand very clearly. Click on this terminal. Right, guys, I want to install pandas right now. I will install pandas. So that is a package, right? So pip install, pip install, pip install pandas, pip install pandas. You see here, pip Python package installer. Install is what a command. Which package it is? Pandas, right? Previously, before 3 version Python 3 version, you have easy install. But after 3 onwards, we have this pip Python package installer. Once you click on enter, you see here, it will directly hit the server. It will try to install that. You see, it is installing. Very important thing. If you want to install any package in Python, very basic information it is. You need to use this pip install package name, right? You see here, it is installing collected packages. Right, these are all supporting packages for pandas also. These will be automatically installed. So once it is installed, so it will try to show you some successful message. Right, it is taking some time. You see indexes are also updating here, right? You see successfully installed numpy pandas. So for pandas, numpy is also supported a package. So that is automatically installed. Right, this message you need to see at last. So how you can install any package by using pip install a package name. There is another way. Pip install, right, hyphen r requirements.txt file, right? So when we implement a project, we will not use this command for every package to install. Rather, you will specify all the packages in requirements.txt file. So how you can create the same way, right? Right click on this project, mouse over onto new, you can see file. Click on that. Specify requirements.txt file. Right now, I am not going to do that. Once you create that, click on terminal again. Issue this as a simple command. Pip install -r requirements.txt file. If you specify this, all the packages specified in this requirements.txt, they will be installed. Suppose if you want to install a single package, you can go for this. Right? These are all the basic stuff. Very, very important stuff. These might be seeing very simple, but these are very powerful. If you don't know all these things, introduction to Python programming 1, part 1 and part 2, it is very difficult going ahead.